Deception's Shadow on Integrity. George Orwell's Animal Farm, published in 1945, stands as a towering example of political satire and allegory, illuminating the perils of power, deception, and manipulation. Set on a farm where the animals revolt against their human farmer, hoping to create a society based on equality and prosperity, the narrative swiftly evolves into a cautionary tale. The pigs, who assume leadership roles, gradually succumb to the very vices they vowed to eradicate, illustrating Orwell's poignant commentary on the corruptive nature of power and the cyclical pattern of oppression. At its core, Animal Farm is not just a critique of a specific historical regime, but a universal exploration of how deception and manipulation can infect and degrade ideals of fairness and democracy. Through characters such as Napoleon, the self-appointed leader, and Squealer, his persuasive mouthpiece, Orwell masterfully showcases the tactics used by those in power to maintain control, silence dissent, and reshape reality to fit their desires. Drawing inspiration from Animal Farm, this article aims to delve into the modern phenomena of instigators and silent blackmailers. These contemporary wolves in sheep's clothing operate within the shadows of our society, workplaces, and online communities, subtly inciting situations and conversations for nefarious purposes. Like the manipulative leaders of Orwell's farm, they too cloak their intentions under the guise of nobility or common good, all the while weaving a web of control and deceit. By examining these dynamics through the allegorical lens provided by Animal Farm, we aim to uncover the mechanisms of manipulation and control in our midst and explore strategies for awareness and resilience against such covert coercion. The Farm. George Orwell's Animal Farm serves as a profound backdrop for exploring themes that are as relevant today as they were at the time of its publication. The farm, initially a symbol of hope and equality, quickly becomes a stage for power struggles, manipulation, and the corruption of ideals. This transformation is orchestrated by the animals who seize leadership, promising a utopia free from human tyranny, but ultimately betraying the very principles they sought to uphold: the power and the corruption of ideals. The revolution on the farm begins with noble intentions, to create a society where animals could live free, equal, and happy. However, as the pigs ascend to power, particularly Napoleon and his acolytes, the initial promises of animalism are slowly perverted. The pigs leverage their intellect and the labor of others to consolidate power, gradually imposing their will and rewriting the farm's laws to suit their desires. This evolution from revolution to tyranny encapsulates Orwell's critique of how those in power can manipulate ideology and truth to maintain their status and control over the masses. Main characters as allegories. Napoleon. The self-appointed leader of Animal Farm, Napoleon embodies the ruthless pursuit of power under the guise of the common good. His rise to power and subsequent abuse of it reflect the tendencies of dictatorial leaders to manipulate, oppress, and silence dissent to maintain their dominance. Snowball. Initially a co-leader with Napoleon, Snowball represents the potential for leadership driven by ideals and the pursuit of progress. However, his expulsion from the farm by Napoleon illustrates how threats to authoritarian control are marginalized and demonized. Squealer. The master of propaganda, Squealer plays a crucial role in manipulating the truth and reshaping history to justify Napoleon's actions. His ability to persuade and deceive the other animals highlights the power of rhetoric and misinformation in sustaining corrupt regimes. Boxer. The loyal and hardworking cart horse, Boxer, symbolizes the working class, whose labor is exploited by those in power. His tragic fate underscores the betrayal and abandonment of the proletariat by their supposed champions. Through these characters and their interactions, Animal Farm unveils the mechanisms of deception, manipulation, and the betrayal of ideals. As allegories for instigators and manipulators in society, they provide a lens through which we can examine the contemporary landscape of power dynamics, shedding light on the silent maneuvers and overt actions of modern-day Napoleons and Squealers, the instigators among us. The allegorical characters of Animal Farm serve as timeless mirrors reflecting the characteristics of modern-day instigators. These individuals, much like Napoleon and Squealer, often cloak their true intentions under the guise of leadership and benevolence, manipulating situations and people to their advantage. By drawing parallels between Orwell's characters and the instigators in our midst, we can better understand the subtle art of manipulation that pervades various spheres of our lives today, presenting as allies or leaders with noble intentions. Napoleon and Squealer expertly portray themselves as the farm's saviors, promising prosperity and freedom from oppression. This tactic is not confined to the fictional world. Contemporary instigators often position themselves as allies or visionary leaders committed to the common good. By projecting an image of solidarity and benevolence, they gain the trust of those they seek to manipulate, making it easier to advance their hidden agendas. Strategies to incite actions or conversations with hidden motives. In Animal Farm, strategic actions and rhetoric are used to incite the other animals into supporting or enacting policies that ultimately serve the pig's interests. Similarly, modern instigators may initiate conversations or propose actions that appear benign or even beneficial on the surface, but are designed to manipulate public opinion, sow discord, or consolidate their power and influence. They adeptly create scenarios that provoke a desired response, ensuring that the outcome aligns with their objectives, gaining trust and lowering defenses. The tactics employed by Napoleon and Squealer to gain the trust of the farm animals are emblematic of how contemporary instigators operate. Through a combination of charismatic leadership, appeals to shared values or goals, and the promise of rewards, they lower the defenses of their targets. This manipulation is often subtle, leveraging psychological principles to create a sense of loyalty, dependence, or fear. By fostering an environment where questioning their motives or actions is discouraged or penalized, they ensure compliance and stifle dissent. Analysis of narrative strategies. The narrative strategies seen in Animal Farm, the manipulation of language, the revision of history, and the exploitation of fear are eerily resonant in today's world. Instigators manipulate information, spreading disinformation or selectively revealing truths to craft a narrative that legitimizes their actions and delegitimizes their opponents. By controlling the narrative, they maintain a facade of legitimacy and benevolence, even as they pursue their covert objectives. Through the lens of Animal Farm, we can discern the intricate dance of manipulation and control performed by instigators in society. By understanding their strategies and tactics, we are better equipped to recognize and resist their attempts to sway our perceptions and actions. Just as Orwell's farm animals eventually recognize the betrayal of their leaders, so too must we remain vigilant against the subtle encroachments of those who seek to manipulate us from the shadows. Silent blackmailers in sheep's clothing. In Animal Farm, the manipulation and control exerted by characters such as Napoleon and Squealer are not always overt. Much of their power comes from what remains unsaid, from threats veiled in the language of concern, and from the strategic use of information and secrecy. These tactics find their echoes in the real world, where silent blackmailers operate under the guise of benevolence, wielding information as a weapon to coerce and control. Manipulation behind the scenes. The silent blackmailers of Animal Farm orchestrate events and manipulate information without drawing attention to their true intentions. For example, Squealer's late-night alterations of the 7 Commandments represent the insidious manipulation of truth to serve the interests of the pigs. In our societies, silent blackmailers similarly manipulate behind the scenes, using what they know, or what they claim to know, about individuals or organizations to influence decisions, behaviors, and outcomes. Tools of control and coercion. Information and secrecy become tools of immense power in the hands of these manipulators. Just as the pigs use the threat of Jones's return as a means of control, modern silent blackmailers use the threat of exposure, whether of personal secrets or sensitive information, to coerce compliance. The fear of potential repercussions for exposed secrets ensures that their targets remain pliant and reluctant to challenge the status quo. Impact on society and individuals. The tactics employed by the pigs create an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty on the farm, eroding trust among the animals and consolidating the pigs' power. Similarly, in society, the actions of silent blackmailers can lead to a culture of suspicion, where individuals feel isolated and vulnerable. This environment stifles open communication and collaboration, leading to a breakdown in community and organizational cohesion. Psychological warfare. The psychological impact of these tactics cannot be overstated. Animal Farm illustrates the emotional toll on the animals subjected to constant manipulation and the threat of betrayal. Similarly, individuals targeted by silent blackmailers may experience stress, anxiety, and a sense of powerlessness. The constant pressure to conform or face the consequences of defiance can lead to significant psychological distress, affecting one's mental health and well-being. Through the allegory of Animal Farm, we gain insights into the methods and impacts of silent blackmailers in our midst. Recognizing these tactics is the first step in countering their influence, empowering individuals and communities to resist manipulation and reclaim control over their narratives and lives. By understanding the psychological warfare waged by these modern-day wolves in sheep's clothing, we can develop strategies to support those affected and foster a culture of transparency, trust, and mutual respect. The psychological impact and the cycle of manipulation. The psychological ramifications of manipulation and control, as depicted in Animal Farm, serve as a stark allegory for the real-world impact of instigators and silent blackmailers on individuals and communities. The emotional toll on the farm's inhabitants, resulting from the erosion of trust and the pervasive sense of betrayal, parallels the distress experienced by those subjected to manipulation in our societies. Psychological effects on the farm. In Animal Farm, the animals' initial optimism and camaraderie give way to an atmosphere of suspicion and fear. The pigs' gradual distortion of the truth, the rewriting of history, and the manipulation of societal norms not only undermine the animals' sense of reality, but also their trust in one another and in themselves. This betrayal, especially by figures they once respected and believed in, leads to profound psychological distress. Boxer's steadfast loyalty and eventual betrayal encapsulate the emotional devastation of manipulation, illustrating how the exploitation of trust and goodwill can result in despair and disillusionment, erosion of trust, and mental health impact. The tactics of manipulation, whether through deception, coercion, or silent blackmail, erode the foundational trust that binds individuals and communities. This erosion of trust breeds an environment of constant vigilance and suspicion, where genuine connections are doubted and collaboration is hindered. The feeling of betrayal, particularly when it comes from those who position themselves as allies or protectors, can have lasting effects on mental health, leading to anxiety, depression, and a diminished sense of self-worth. Real-world parallels. The emotional consequences experienced by the animals in Animal Farm are mirrored in the real world, where individuals and communities grapple with the fallout of manipulation. Victims of instigators and silent blackmailers often face a long road to recovery, as the psychological scars left by manipulation can affect their ability to trust and engage with others. The impact extends beyond individuals, affecting the fabric of communities and organizations. When trust is undermined on a large scale, it can lead to a breakdown in social cohesion, creating an atmosphere of division and conflict. Breaking the cycle of manipulation. Recognizing the psychological impact of manipulation is crucial in developing strategies to support victims and rebuild trust. This includes creating safe spaces for open dialogue, providing mental health support, and fostering an environment where honesty and transparency are valued. education and awareness can empower individuals to recognize and resist manipulative tactics, breaking the cycle of manipulation and its psychological toll. By drawing parallels between the emotional journey of the animals in Animal Farm and the experiences of those affected by manipulation in the real world, we gain insights into the profound psychological impact of such tactics. This understanding underscores the importance of addressing the roots of manipulation, be it through education, support systems, or societal change, to mitigate its effects and foster a healthier, more trusting society. Mitigating the risks and fostering resilience. The narrative of Animal Farm not only exposes the mechanisms of manipulation and control, but also offers insights into potential strategies for resilience and resistance. Drawing from Orwell's allegory, this section explores how awareness, education, open communication, and community solidarity can serve as bulwarks against the tactics of instigators and silent blackmailers. Promoting awareness and education. One of the first steps in mitigating the risks of manipulation is fostering an environment where awareness and education are prioritized. Understanding the signs of manipulative behavior, the tactics used by instigators, and the psychological impacts of these actions empowers individuals to recognize and resist manipulation. Education can also instill critical thinking skills, encouraging individuals to question narratives, verify information, and seek out diverse perspectives before forming judgments. Critical thinking and questioning. Animal Farm underscores the importance of critical thinking and the courage to question authority. The animal's failure to scrutinize the pig's actions and the gradual alterations to the 7 commandments facilitate their manipulation and control. In real life, fostering an environment where questioning and critical analysis are encouraged can prevent the spread of misinformation and the unchecked rise of manipulative leaders. Encouraging skepticism and the independent verification of facts can help dismantle the narrative control that instigators seek to establish. Support systems and community solidarity. The strength of community solidarity is a powerful antidote to manipulation. Support systems that offer emotional, psychological, and sometimes legal assistance can be invaluable to those affected by manipulative tactics. Furthermore, a united community that shares knowledge, resources, and support can provide a collective defense against manipulation, reducing the isolation that makes individuals vulnerable to such tactics. Healing from manipulation is a process that can be significantly aided by the empathy, understanding, and solidarity of a supportive community. Unity and collective awareness. The conclusion of Animal Farm serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of disunity and the lack of collective awareness. Conversely, real-world examples show that when communities come together, informed by awareness and a commitment to mutual support, they can challenge and even overcome the influence of manipulators. Unity, underpinned by shared values and a commitment to protecting the community's integrity, can disrupt the cycle of manipulation and control. Collective action, driven by a well-informed and critically thinking populace, stands as a formidable force against the strategies employed by instigators and silent blackmailers. In drawing lessons from Animal Farm, we find that the keys to combating manipulation lie in awareness, education, critical thinking, and community solidarity. By fostering environments where these values are embraced and cultivated, we can mitigate the risks posed by manipulators and foster resilience among individuals and communities alike. Through collective effort and a commitment to transparency and mutual support, it is possible to safeguard the integrity of our societies against the corrosive effects of manipulation. Beyond the farm gates, George Orwell's Animal Farm extends far beyond its allegorical depiction of a failed revolution, offering timeless lessons about human nature, the corrupting influence of power, and the critical need for vigilance against manipulation. The story serves as a poignant reminder that the dynamics of power and deception are not confined to the pages of history or the realm of fiction. They are ever-present realities in our daily lives. The narrative reveals the ease with which ideals can be corrupted, the truth can be manipulated, and trust can be exploited. It underscores the importance of questioning authority, remaining skeptical of too-good-to-be-true promises, and understanding the motives behind certain actions. Animal Farm is not just a critique of a particular political system, but a cautionary tale about the universal potential for abuse of power and the fragility of democratic values in the absence of constant vigilance. This call to action is not merely about recognizing the presence of instigators and silent blackmailers in our midst. It is an invitation to actively engage in the safeguarding of our communities against manipulation. Orwell's work compels us to apply the lessons of Animal Farm by fostering an environment where awareness, education, and open communication are pillars of our social fabric. It encourages us to build strong support systems and to champion community, solidarity as antidotes to the divisive tactics of manipulators. The power of awareness and education cannot be overstated. Informed individuals are better equipped to recognize and resist manipulation, and educated communities are less susceptible to the divisive and destructive strategies employed by those seeking to exploit them. The role of community support is equally vital. It not only aids in the healing process for those who have been manipulated, but also strengthens the collective resolve to maintain integrity and justice. As we venture beyond the farm gates, let us carry with us the lessons learned from Orwell's fable. Let us commit to a vigilant and proactive stance against the forces of manipulation, ensuring that the ideals of fairness, transparency, and democracy are not merely aspirational, but are actively upheld. In the face of deceit and manipulation, it is our collective awareness, our commitment to education, and our unwavering support for one another that will safeguard the integrity and justice of our communities.